Let's tie this crazy Charlie. First, start by getting your hook in the jaws, locking it in tight. Take your brown thread, and we're going to start it right behind the eye of the hook this time. I'm going to go back to about there, leaving a little space in the front. Snip off that thread. I'm going to take the barbell eyes, and I'm going to lay it parallel to the hook. I'm going to do about 3 wraps or so here. And once I get it like that, now I can pull it down and get it sideways on there. You can see that gap I left at the front of the hook. I'm going to do figure 8 wraps here to lock this in place. And as you go, you're going to get a little tighter, and that'll help hold it on top. Keep it there. Now I'm going to come back a little bit here, a few wraps. Then you want to take your brown stretch ribbing and start that just behind the eyes there. I like to put it on the top. So I'm going to lock that in with a wrap or 2, and then I'm going to wrap it towards the back here. I like to kind of pull it towards me, and then the thread will push it towards the top to kind of line it up on top. Back to about there on the hook, and now I can wrap that thread back forward. I'm going to stop that right back there behind the eyes again. Now we're going to bring this forward and just make a little rib body here. Kind of stretch it a little. Be careful of that hook. You don't want to catch this ribbing on that. It could put a nick in it and possibly make it fragile and have it break off a little easier. So just be careful of that hook. Each wrap is just going right next to the one before it. And then once you get up here, I'm going to wrap it around the thread once, just to kind of lock that in, and then I can come up, do a couple of wraps here. Get the scissors out. Snip that off. I left a little tag end on that, and the reason for that is now I'm just going to do a figure 8 again, and I'm going to lock that in a little bit more from that tag end that I left, and that's all under the hook, so it's not going to be seen much. Next, you're going to want to take this brown deer hair. Now this is all different lengths here, so what you're going to want to do is just kind of grab a clump of it, cut it off of the whole section that came. And what I like to do is I just hold that, and you can see the different lengths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the longer ones out. That one doesn't make the grade. It had a little kink in it. So some of these longer ones, I might pull these out and just kind of reset them in the stack so they're similar length to the rest of them. Because we're not going to have a long deer hair section on this fly, so I like to have them kind of evenly matched here. I'm just going to kind of pull those out and get them all set. Now, with a rotary vise, I'm going to roll this upside down here because I like to work where I can see down on the fly a little bit. Now this hair is only going to come back to about the bend of the hook. So I'm going to hold this in here, and I'm going to wrap this in right behind those eyes. I'm going to do a couple loose wraps first. And the loose wraps just allow me to kind of come in with 2 hands when I'm done, look to see where that's at, make sure it's on the underside, and I'm going to kind of pull it tight now. And I'm going to cut that hair so it's behind these eyes. I want the cuts to be basically over the hair to end over those eyes, so I can wrap it down on the eyes. I'm going to cut it right there. And now I'm going to do some more figure 8 wraps to hold that down in place. Now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of this flash that came in the kit. What I like to do is just kind of, maybe I'll just roll it around a couple of my fingers here to create a couple of wraps. In this case, we're gonna, that didn't work as well as I'd hoped. But let's do this again. So we're just kind of fold it over on itself. Okay, so I'm gonna fold it once. I'm gonna fold it twice. It's gonna give me two different sides. And you can see how long it is on the hook now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap this in the middle. Okay. I'm gonna hold it on my side of the hook first. I'm gonna wrap it once, twice. Then I'm going to pull this back on your side of the hook and hold them back, and then wrap them all in place now. 2 or 3 wraps should be enough to hold that in place. I'm going to come back over that eye. And now if you didn't get everything wrapped up on the front of the hook, if you got a little bare spot, this is where you can kind of fill it in right now. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple wraps to fill it in, and then finish it off with a whip finish. You can put a little super glue on there if you'd like, just to kind of lock it in place a little bit more. This whip finish should lock that thread in good. Sometimes I like to do 2 of those just to make sure I've got enough wraps on those. Pull that nice and tight. Come on in and snip that thread out again. Now the last part, because I tied these with loops, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of gently pull those back and snip those right there in the center. Thought I had another one on that side. Snip there, snip there. And then at this point, you just want to see how long they are. I want them to come back about as long as the fur, maybe a little longer, just depends on what you want. And there's your crazy Charlie. And this guy's got some really crazy legs coming right off the side there.